Guys, I've got a bit of a problem. So, I've seen some of you commenting on my videos saying things like, I need a tutorial for this, or please bro, make a tutorial, or Rocats, you're the greatest person to ever live, PS, make a Halo 2 tutorial. Now, I need you to understand, this is my channel. I'm going to post the content that I feel like posting, not these tutorials that people keep asking for. So yeah, I just want to make that clear. I'm not going to be doing these tutorials. I'm not going to do Halo 2 speedrun tutorials. Fuck off. Alright, let's do this. So the first thing you want to make sure of in Hangar 1 here is that you always stay up top and always strafe left and right constantly. If you've seen runs of this level on Legendary, you know that we take huge advantage of the noob combo, the good old Plasma Pistol BR combo. It's such a cheap, easy method for killing elites, but it's fast, so we're going to use it. I'll give a little breakdown of each of the waves now in the hangar. So you're going to have this initial wave, which is always going to be 2 elites and 3 grunts. Once you've killed a certain amount of those, enemies are going to start coming out of the tubes. The first wave coming out of the tube is always going to be 1 elite and 3 grunts. The second wave coming out of the tube is, again, always going to be 1 elite and 3 grunts. And then the third wave is always going to be 2 elites and 3 grunts. And then you're going to have the fourth and final wave coming out, which is always going to be a white elite and 2 grunts. So for each of the first 3 waves that come out of the tube before the white elite, let's not think about the white elite for now, we'll get to that a bit later on. But for the first 3 waves that come out of the tube, each wave is going to come out when 2 or less enemies are alive from the previous wave. And you can see all I'm really doing here is strafing left and right to give myself some cover behind this barrier. I'm using the noob combo to take out the elites, BR to take out the grunts, and then you also get 3 frags behind this barrier, which I'm using to spawn kill some of the grunts as they come out of the tube. And that's why it's important to know that having 2 or less enemies alive will spawn the next wave, because if you know that, you can get ready to throw that nade, to spawn kill them out of the tube. So this white elite wave is a little bit different to the other waves, because instead of coming out when 2 enemies or less are alive, this one will come out when 4 enemies or less are alive. Although the wave isn't going to come out straight away when there are 4 enemies left alive in the previous wave, it's actually on a timer. I believe it takes about 10 seconds or so. So when you're clearing out the enemies from the third wave coming out of the tube, when you're down to 4 enemies left, that's when the timer is going to start for the white elite coming out. So you don't have to be super quick or anything, but just make sure you're quick enough clearing the enemies in the third wave, so that you're actually ready for the white elite wave to come out, because you don't want to be caught off guard. Quite often, when there's only a few enemies left from the third wave, they'll start hiding behind boxes while you're just waiting for the white elite wave to come out, so as long as it's safe, you can jump down and take them out just to finish them off, and then the white elite wave's going to come out, and again, all you want to do is noob combo him, and then finish off the 2 grunts either side of him with headshots. So that's it, we're ready for Hangar 2 now. All you really need to do is stock up on nades, so there's a bunch of plasma nades up top here, and then sometimes when you kill these marines or go to their dead bodies, they might have 1 or 2 frag grenades. Alright, so Hangar 2. This one's a little bit more tricky than Hangar 1, because there's a ton more enemies, but the first thing we're going to do is take out these 2 grunts on the turrets here. They're not always going to die in one burst, so if they do start shooting you, you can just quickly take cover behind this box and then take them out. What I like to do after that is just walk forward, throw a plasma in sort of this general area where all the enemies are. If you've got any spare frags from the marines in the previous hangar, you can throw a plasma and a frag here, because that'll give you more chance of taking out more enemies. But if you don't have any frags, 1 plasma will do just fine. You'll typically get like 1 or 2 kills at the very least. After that, we're going to pick up a second plasma pistol from the turret grunts that we killed before. If you see 2 plasma pistols on the ground, I'd recommend picking them both up, because then you'll get the max amount of ammo. But if you only see 1 on the ground, that's fine. You can just use the one that you brought from Hangar 1, and then pick the one up off the ground, and it'll do just fine. And then we're going to make our way up top. You want to put one of your plasma pistols down over by this barrier, because that's generally where we're going to be stood for the whole hangar. It's just like Hangar 1 really, we're going to be stood behind this barrier, strafing left and right the whole time, just to be as safe as possible. And again, just like Hangar 1, the whole time we're going to be using the noob combo to take out as many elites as we can, as fast as we can. We're going to be using the BR or any nades that we've got to take out the grunts. So in terms of the actual waves, you're going to have this initial wave that's always 3 elites and 5 grunts. You're then going to have 2 waves coming out of the tubes, and then you're going to have another wave coming out of the tube, which, just like Hangar 1, is a white elite wave. And it really is the same premise as Hangar 1 overall, so from this initial wave, as soon as 2 enemies or less are alive, that's when the first wave is going to come out of the tube. And then for the second wave to come out of the tube, that's going to come out when 2 or less enemies are alive from the first wave. And then for the white elite wave, a timer is going to start just like it did in Hangar 1. as soon as 4 enemies or less are alive from all the previous waves. That's when the timer's going to start, ready for the white elite wave to come in. That wave is a little bit different in Hangar 2, because this time, instead of having a white elite and 2 grunts, you've actually got 2 white elites and a sword elite. Now, typically, you're not really going to have many frags, if any at all, in this hangar compared to Hangar 1, so when you're spawn killing the waves coming out of the tubes, you're going to have to use plasmas for the most part in this hangar. It's still effective, it'll still usually kill the grunts coming out of the tube, and then you can be using the noob combo to take out the elites. A general sort of advice I can give for this hangar, one is be careful of the shield in the middle when you're throwing the nades to take out the waves coming out of the tube, because sometimes you'll get your aim assist dragged onto an enemy, and you'll end up throwing your nade at the shield and it'll bounce off and not kill anything, so just be aware of that. Another thing, grunts typically like to hide right in this corner here beside this box. Like pretty much every time we'll see at least 1 grunt there, if not 2 or 3. So when you come up top and you're putting your plasma pistol down, it might be a good idea to just check in that corner, see if there are any grunts there for some free kills. So once those few waves are dead and you know the timer's starting for the white elite wave to be coming out, you want to get ready and pick up your other plasma pistol, because what we're going to do is, I mean, not really a trick, but a little method where we can overcharge both elites at the same time, both white elites, and take them out with headshots before they can even get out of the tube. So you can see I'm aiming my reticle in the lower half of the tube. I usually go right to left. You can do it left then right if you want to, either way it doesn't really matter. I just do the right one first because I'm used to it. So I'm aiming in the lower half of the tube, I overcharge the right side, and then I just take a couple of steps to the left and shoot the left overcharge. So if all goes to plan, you've overcharged both elites, switch to your BR, take them out with headshots before they can get out of the tube and start shooting you, and then at this point it's just taking out any remaining elites that are down low, and then once it's safe you can jump down, take out the sword elite and take his sword. If for any reason 1 or 2 of the white elites get out of the tube, maybe you were not expecting them to spawn so soon so you weren't ready to overcharge them. If that is the case, you again just want to stay up top, strafe left and right for cover, and just noob combo them like you did with all the other elites. Typically they'll stay out in the open. If they do hide, as long as it's safe you can jump down and go up close to them and noob combo them, but typically they will stay out in the open. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for Cairo Hangars. I don't think I've missed anything major, really. If you do have any questions or something that I've missed, feel free to let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to answer that. So if people enjoyed this video and found it helpful, I'm going to make a little series out of it where I go through and explain sort of various tricks or sections throughout the speedrun. I was thinking for the next one I could explain the early Scarab board on Metropolis. I think that would be a good idea. I also want to thank you all for helping me hit 1,000 subscribers. That's probably a minuscule as fuck number for a lot of people, but for me that's like actually insane to think about. I remember last year when they added sword playing to MCC, I actually remember I had like 14 subs or something. So to get over 1,000 now, that's crazy. So thank you for that. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.